Mark Mark 15. I read from the Institute for Scripture Research, the ISR, because it takes a direct translation from Hebrew to English, Greek to English, and Aramaic to English. Yah is the Elohim of the heavens and the earth, the first and the last and the only, and he's an extremely jealous El. He's so jealous that he doesn't even want the names of idols or mighty ones to come to our lips. And Yah is short for Yahweh, Yahweh, Yod-He, Vav-He. It's like saying Dan, Daniel, Daniel with an E. What is a difference and does matter, however, is when people say that Phil, Bob, Sam, and Aaron are the same name when no, they're not, and no one in their right mind would ever believe that. And only a fool would believe that a hammer could force its creator to do anything, and there was no letter J in the Hebrew, Greek, or Aramaic text because the letter J was about 600 years old, while the son of, well, not was, is about 600 years old, like to date, about 600 years old. While the son of Elohim, Yehoshua, died on a stake for the sins of all of humanity over 2,000 years ago, and a direct translation from Hebrew to English, Yehoshua is Joshua, and I strongly believe that the son of Elohim's name, Yehoshua, means Yahweh is salvation. 15. And immediately in the morning the chief priests had a council meeting with the elders and scribes and all the council. Having bound Yehoshua, they led him away and delivered him to Pilate, Pilate, Roman. And Pilate asked him, "Are you the sovereign of the Yehudim?" And he, answering, said to him, "You said it." And the chief priests accused him of much, but he made no answer. And Pilate again asked him, saying, "Have you no answer? See how much they witness against you." But Yehoshua still gave no answer, so that Pilate marveled. And at a festival he released to them one prisoner, whomever they were asking, and there was one called Barabbas. Barabba, Barabba, chained with his fellow rebels who had committed murder in the uprising. And the crowd, crying aloud, began to ask, as he had always done for them. But Pilate answered them, saying, "Do you wish me to release for you the sovereign of the Yehudim?" For he knew that the chief priests had handed him over because of envy. And the chief priests stirred up the crowd that he should rather release Barabbas to them. And Pilate answered and again said to them, "What then do you wish me to do to him whom you call the sovereign of the Yehudim?" And again they cried out, "Impale him." And Pilate said to them, "Why, what evil has he done?" And they vehemently, vehemently cried out, "Impale him." And Pilate wished to satisfy the crowd, released Barabbas to them, and having whipped him, he delivered Yehoshua over to be impaled. And the soldiers led him away into the court which is the palace. And they called together the entire company of soldiers and decked him with purple. And they plaited a crown of thorns, put it on him, and they began to call out to him, "Greetings, sovereign of the Yehudim." And they kept beating him on the head with a reed, and were spitting on him. And you need to turn on the light here. The clouds went over the sun. And bending the knee, they were bowing down to him. And when they had mocked him, they took the purple off him and put his own garments on him and led him out to impale him. And they compelled a passerby, Shimon, a Syrian, Cyrenian, coming from the field, the father of Alexander and Rufus. Alexander is Alexander, and Rufus is Rufus, to bear his stake. And they brought him to the place Golgotha, Golgotha, which is translated place of a skull. And they were giving him wine mixed with myrrh to drink, but he did not take it. And when they impaled him, they delivered his garments, casting lots for them. Tet 22:18. What each one should take, and it was the 3rd hour, and they impaled him. And the inscription of his accusation was written above the sovereign of the Yehudim, and with him they impaled 2 robbers, one on his right and the other on his left. And the scripture was filled, which says, and he was reckoned with the lawless. Isaiah 53:12. I know Yesh is Isaiah, but... And those passing by were blaspheming him, shaking their heads, and saying, Ah, you who destroy the dwelling place and build it in 3 days. Save yourself and come down from the stake. And likewise the chief priests and the scribes, mocking to one another, said, He saved others, he is unable to save himself. The Messiah, the sovereign of Israel, come down now from the stake, so that we see and believe. And those who were impaled with him were reproaching him. And when the 6th hour came, darkness came over all the land until the 9th hour. And at the 9th hour Yehoshua cried out with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, which is E-L-I, E with a half a check mark, L-I-E-L-I, lama, L-A-M-A-H, and then S-H-E-B with a line underneath of it, A-Q-T-A-N-I, which is translated, my El, why have you forsaken me? They literally stuck a spike that went through his ankles, one through his ankles and one through his hands over his head, and he was like that for 6 hours. Because on the 3rd hour they impaled him, and on the 9th hour he cried out. So for 6 hours he hung there. It's insane. And some of those standing by, when they heard it, said, See, he is calling for Elijah. And someone ran and filled a sponge with sour wine and put it on a reed and offered it to him to drink, saying, Leave him, let us see if Elijah does come to take him down. They think Elijah is YahWeh. Like, that's how confused these people are. And Yehoshua cried out with a loud voice and breathed his last, and the veil of the dwelling place was torn in 2 from top to bottom. And when the captain who was standing opposite him saw that he cried out like this and breathed his last, he said, Truly this man was the son of Elohim. And there were also women watching from a distance, among whom was also Miriam and Magdala. Miriam is Mary, Miryam. From Magdala, M-A-G with a line underneath of it, with a line on M-A-G with a line on top of it, D-A-L-A. And Miriam, the mother of Jacob the Less, and of Yosef and Sholomo. Jacob the Less. It's capital L in Less. Jacob the Less. Interesting. And Sholomo is Shellomah, who also followed him and attended him when he was in Galil, and many other women who came up with him to Jerusalem. And when evening had come, because it was the preparation day, that is, the day before the Sabbath, Yosef of Ramathaim, Ramathayim, a prominent council member, who was himself waiting for the reign of Elohim, boldly went into Pilate and asked for the body of Yehoshua. But Pilate wondered whether he was already dead, so summoning the captain, he asked him if he was already dead. And when he learned this from the captain, he gave the body to Joseph, and he, having brought fine linen, took him down and wrapped him in the linen, and he laid him in a tomb which had been hewn out of the rock, and rolled a stone against the entrance of the tomb. And Miriam from Magdala, and Miriam the mother of Joseph, saw where he was laid.